Hello learners, welcome back to my channel. So in the series of operating system subject, we were covering CPU scheduling algorithms, and in the last video we have covered longest job first, and the preemptive version of the longest job first is the LRTF, that is longest remaining time first. So in this video we will be discussing this LRTF clearly. So this LRTF is a preemptive version of LJF, where again we will be assigning the longest job, or the job which is having the highest burst time will be assigned to the CPU first. Okay, so the job which is having the highest burst unit among all the processes, among all the available processes in the CPU at that time, among all the processes available in the computer system at that time will be allocated to the CPU first. Okay, and if there is a tie among those processes, if two processes are having the same burst unit, that tie will be broken by giving the priority to the process with the lowest process ID. So before looking into the process ID, we will first look into the arrival time. Okay, so if there is a tie between the burst unit of two processes, we will see to the arrival time of those processes. If there is a tie in arrival time, we will look into the process ID. Okay, so let's completely understand it using an example. This is an example where we have 5 processes. The arrival time of all the processes are given with their burst unit. Okay, so let's first schedule it using LRTF. So you need to be very careful during assigning or scheduling this LRTF processes, during LRTF scheduling. So at time 0, see, at time 0 we have two processes, P1 and P2. Both are arriving at time 0, but they have burst unit different. So which process to allocate first? The process P2. Why? Because it is having the highest burst unit, and that is the criteria for this. So we will allocate process P2 first. Once this process P2 is allocated to the CPU, how much time it will execute in the CPU? It will execute for 1 unit. See why? This is 1. Because at time 1, the processes which are available in the CPU and the process which is waiting in the ready queue, they both are having the same burst unit. And I have told you, when there is a tie in the burst unit, the process which is having the lowest process ID will be giving the priority first. So here the process P1 is having the lowest process ID, so it will be allocated next. So process P1 will execute next. For how much time? For the next arrival time. So it will execute for 1 unit only, and after that see, there is another process in the ready queue, that is process P3, which is having 2 burst unit. Now see, which process to allocate next? See, process P2 and P3, there is a tie between process P2 and P3. Which process to allocate next? The process which has arrived first, right? Which has arrived first. So process P2 has arrived first, so process P2 will be allocated next. For how much time? For the next arrival time, that is 1 unit only. So at time 3, another process are there in the ready queue, and it is having the highest burst unit. So the criteria is allocate the CPU, the process which is having the highest burst unit. So we will allocate process P4. Now this process P4 will execute for how much time? It may execute longer, but we have to wait at time 4 because there is another process is coming in the ready queue. As soon as a process is entered into the ready queue, the scheduler has to decide whether that process is having the longest burst unit. If it is, it does context switching. If it is not, it will give the CPU to the process which is continuing with it. Okay, so process P4 there will not be any context switching. Why? See, the new process which has come into the ready queue has the burst unit 4. Until that time, it is also 4. Now there is a tie. So the process which has arrived first will be given chance. So process P4 will execute next. For how much time this process will execute? See, for 1 unit only. For 1 unit only, because after executing the 1 unit, see, the process P5 now has the highest burst time. Okay, so now process P5 will be allocated to the CPU. Now this process P5 will execute for how much time? For one time unit only, because after one unit execution, process P4 and P5, there is a tie among them. So again, P4 is arrived first, so we will schedule process P4 first. For how much time? One unit only, because after one unit execution, P5 is again having the highest burst unit. So process P5 will be allocated next for 1 unit. Now see, now there are 3 processes जिनके बीच में टाई हो रहा है. Process P3, P4 and P5. So which process to schedule next? Process P2, which has arrived first. Process P2. Process P3. Okay, so it will execute for how much time? 9. Only 1 unit. Because after executing 1 unit, the next 2 processes are there with the highest burst time. So किसको allocate करेंगे? दोनों में से P4 को. क्यों? क्योंकि पहले आया है. And then P5. Okay, and see, just after 11 unit of time, now all the processes which are there in the computer system are having the same burst unit, that is 1 1 1 1 1. There is a tie among all of them. So which process to allocate next? We will allocate the process which has arrived first, that means the process 1, P1. For how much time? 1 unit. फिर P2 1 unit, then P3 1 unit, then P4 1 unit, then P5 1 unit. So total time taken to execute all these 5 processes using LRTF scheduling algorithm, it is 16. So here what will be the throughput? Throughput क्या होगा? Throughput is by 16, right? And let's calculate the completion time next. First, completion time. Process P1 is completing at time 12, P2 13, फिर 14, 15, 16. Turnaround time देखें तो completion time minus arrival time, so 12 13 ही होगा. यहाँ 14 minus 2 12, 15 minus 3 12, and this is also 12, 16 minus 4. Then waiting time, turnaround time minus burst time, 12 minus 2 10, 13 minus 3 10, 12 minus 2 10, 12 minus 5 7, 12 minus 4 8. Here we can calculate the response time as well. So what is the response time? The interval, the time between the arriving of the process and it has assigned first time to the CPU. इनके बीच में जितना gap है, that is the response time. So what is the response time? Process P1 का response time, it has assigned at time 1 but it has arrived at 0, so 1. P2 has arrived at 0 and assigned at 0. P3, process P3 is arrived at 2 but assigned at 8, so 8 minus 2 is 6. Process P3 ये हमने लिख लिया. Process P4, see here, it is assigned at time 3 and arrived at 3, so 0. Process P5, it is assigned at 5 but arrived at 4, so 5 minus 4 1. So in this way we can calculate the response time. If we want to calculate the average turnaround time, तो इसको ऐड करिए. 12 plus 13, 12 4 48, 48 plus 13 61. So 61 divided by number of processes, that is 5. It is coming 12.20 millisecond. What about average waiting time? See, 30, 37, 37 and 8, 45, right? So average waiting time हो गया 45 divided by 5 is equal to 9 millisecond. So in this way you can calculate any performance criteria, ठीक है? But you should be very careful when you are scheduling using LRTF. Okay? See you in the next video with the gate questions, with a gate question that has been asked in the previous years. Thank you very much. If you like the video and get something from this video, please hit the like button and please comment something in the comment box so that I would better know myself. Thank you so much.